All right, today's topic is classification of database management system. We'll look into how database management system or DBMS has been classified using different criteria. So it is a very short exploratory topic. It won't take so much time. Now, this sorting and this classification can be in various, criteria, as I've said. One of the criteria of classifying the database management system is according to the model, all right? So the database can be classified according to the model. So this is one popular way of one popular way of classification now according to the model. So just 1 minute. Now we have different models. As you can see from here, we have different models. This is one type of model, and relational database is one type of model. And then uh, you have object data model. Then you have hierarchical and network data model, then object relational model. So these are some of the popular uh, database model, which as we progress in with this topic, we will be covering most of this different types of models. Now, if you look at this, this is probably the relational data model is probably the most popular data model. So most of the commercial database management system are built or are written in the form of this particular model, relational data model. So in the market where they are, in the database DBMS market, relational data model was and is still the most popular model. So where every table or every entity is, for example, if this is a student, student will have roll number, students will have name, students will have the say class, and so on. So this particular uh, table, in layman's term, you can call it table. This particular table is named student. So this student is actually an entity in the real world, but this entity will be called relation. Okay, they call it relation. So that is what the relational model is about. Then you have so many other, for example, like students are in various departments. So uh, departments can be another relation or table. Okay, so department has name of the department and probably the location or the name, yeah, and so on. So this is then we have here we will have a department, for example. Now, which student is in which department? Here we don't have to have a department and various things, but by virtue of this name of the department here and name of the department here, the two can be linked together. All right. So let me get up these things. It is all right. Okay, so that is how the uh, relational model is about. Then, when it comes to object database system, object database system is slightly different from the relational database system, because object database systems looks at every entity. For example, in this case, we have students. Sorry, we have students, and then we have department. So these two, in relational data model, it is known as a relation. But in object data model, these things become, students becomes object. Okay. Then department also become object. So what happened is that in object database model, the way the real world is represented is in the form of object. Everything that is recorded is object. But the major difference between relational data model and object model is that object model will be a little bit more complex than relational model. Relational model is more or less like flattening everything that is represented. Object model has a little bit of dimensions added into it compared to the relational models. Then you have this legacy system, legacy model. Why we call it legacy model is because these models, like hierarchical and network models, are no longer in use. But if at all it is there, then this is one classification in which the database system is classified. Then we have the popularity of relational model, and then the convenience or the ability to represent complex data objects. Taking these two together, we have object relational, combination of object database and then relational database model. So this is a different form of database system. So this is, which combines object database data model and then relational data model. So when you classify a database according to these data models, you will have these four different types of data models. Now let us look at the other classification, how other classification things are. Here is according to the number of users. Okay, so the number of users, how many users are there? So according to that, so database can be classified. For example, you can have a single users where only one user at a time are using it mostly. With probably a single user, you have a single user in your personal computer, and then only one person can access the database in that single PC. So that is a single users. But when it comes to multiple users, and this is different from single user system, is different from centralized system. Okay, let us not forget the centralized DBMS. When it comes, the centralized DBMS is stored in a single server. Okay, in a single server. But when it comes to access, it provides multiple access. Okay, multiple access. That means the number of users who can use this database, centralized database system, can be multiple. It can mean multiple numbers. It's not only one person. Therefore, centralized DBMS and a single user system is not the same. Then we have the multi users. So centralized system also falls under this multi-user system. Now, multi-user system can be centralized or it can be distributed. Okay. So both these two, centralized database system and then distributed system, supports multi-user. That means so many people can use simultaneously at this database system. As we said, centralized system is stored, the database itself is stored in a single server, but distributed database system will be stored in multiple locations or multiple servers. Okay, and the user accessibility is also multiple. So that is the major differences. So sometimes, as we have said, database is also classified according to the number of users. Then we have the number of sites, classification according to the number of sites. I have already mentioned that a database can be located in one place, or database can be located in so many different places, and so on. Now, the first one, as we said, centralized database system is stored in the single server, but the number of users is, it is single server, meaning that the location, number of site is single site. Okay, so centralized means that it is in a single server, therefore the site, number of site is single server. Distributed system is the database is stored or processed in multiple servers. Therefore, the site is also multiple sites. You can have n number of sites. That means the database can be located in server 1, 2, server 1, server 2, server 3, and so on. So in all these places, they are located through network, through computer network, they are interconnected and they are made to function like a single entity or made to function like a single server. So but the location of the database is distributed across multiple sites. Then we have the homogeneous type of database system. Now, this homogeneous database management system use the same software at multiple sites. Okay, the same software at multiple sites. So the trend is to develop software to access autonomous pre-existing databases. Okay, okay, that comes to heterogeneous thing. So homogeneous DBMS use the same software. Same software or same DBMS in multiple sites. Okay, so they use the same software in multiple sites. That is called the homogeneous type. So it's more or less, this also is a multiple site. Then as the next is ultimately this homogeneous use leads to heterogeneous database management system, where independent database pre-existing, that means database already exists. It is not created and designed in such a way, but this site, this database 1, database 2, database 3, database 4, they came up on their own. So most probably they may not use the same software also, but they have some, they follow some common standard. So therefore, they come up with the a software, they develop a software to access, okay, to access, they come up with a software to access all of this pre-existing site. For example, all we want to do is the, say, to search or to query, okay. So we can do by using a common software for searching or query, but we will have access to this different database system, one, two, three, four different database system in this case. So this software allows that these independently existing databases, multiple, which is in their own existence, can be used like it is one particular database management system. So that we call it heterogeneous database management system. Ultimately, this single software, I mean, by using a single software to access or to query or to administer multiple database system doesn't mean that they have lose their local independence. So these database systems still have their uh, own local variation. They still have their own independent way of doing things, but certain agreed upon standards are being shared so that the single software can be used to access. So this led into what we call it federated DBMS. Okay, federated DBMS. So federated DBMS is ultimately in library science we have popular terms like federated search. Okay, federated search is what? Is a search mechanism, or we have a common platform where we can search multiple database sites. Okay, so that is the classification according to the number of sites. Then database can also be classified according to the cost, how much it costs. So when it comes to procuring database system, this is very important. So you have, this is a rough, a loose classification, just to have an idea that there are low cost DBMS and medium DBMS, then high cost or premium DBMS, just to have an idea of uh, how it can be classified according to the cost. We have given some figures in rupee value, which may or may not be strictly applicable. Okay, so a low cost DBMS you vary from 75, 7,500 to 2,50,000 roughly. Okay, vary from, rough this thing. So it can be a little bit more. It can go up to 7.5 lakhs also. Then we have the medium cost, which may be 7.5 lakhs to 75 lakhs. So that is the mid-range cost. Then you have the premium DBMS, which can be more than 75 lakhs. Okay, so this is a simple, an illustration of how DBMS can be low cost, medium, high cost. At the same time, let us also not forget that there are DBMS which is free of cost. Okay, which I have not included here because that is altogether a different types of database system, because there is no cost involved, like the open DBMS softwares practically can have no cost. Okay, so this is the classification according to the cost, the price tag. Then we can also have a database management system classified according to access and usage. Now, you can access database management sequentially. For example, every record 1, record 2, record 3, record 4, record 5, and so on. Okay. So we have this serial, records in the database management, the first record, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Now, sequential access means that you can access a record from the beginning and move next by next till you get where you want to. So this is called sequential access. Direct access means that you don't have to go through 1, 2, 3. Suppose you want to access 4, then you go directly to access that record, that is record 4. So these can also be another classification: sequential access, direct access. Okay, then it can be based on usage. Usage can be another criteria for classification of database management system. Here we have a general purpose database management system, and we can also have special purpose database management system. Usually, database enterprise, I mean, people who are dealing with database management system, the trend is that they make general purpose DBMS, okay, database management system, and then they make this general purpose DBMS customizable. Okay, that means that you can customize, make modification. You can customize the database system. They will give you that flexibility. I mean, the database they try to incorporate in their schema or in their design the almost every perceivable modules in it, and then those modules can be activated or deactivated, or those modules can be modified to suit the purpose of the organization which is going to use it. So initially it's a general purpose software, I mean database system, but which is customizable. You can modify it according to your requirement. Then another category is the special purpose. For example, airline reservation is a special purpose database management system which is meant for the airline reservation only. Airline reservation database system probably you cannot use in library system. Railways booking system or railway signal management database management system you cannot use in some other software, I mean some other purpose. So that kind of database systems are special purpose system. So it cannot be used except for the purpose for which it is designed. Then under this we have I was mentioning about airline database management system is in other words called OLTP, okay, online transaction processing. So what it does is that this manage operational data. Okay, when I said operational data, we are talking about the minute to minute or the hour to hour transaction recording. So where do we get this? If you talk about libraries, we get this kind of minute to minute operation or transaction processing is maximum. In circulation, for example, in the circulation module, you have users getting issue, return. Okay, so basically it will be a record of issue, return, maybe fine or whatever. So this is the closest to this online transaction processing. This is operational. It manages operational data, and then the database server must be able to process lots of simple transaction per unit on a time. Okay, so if you look at the banking system, for example, one particular banking system located nationwide or located the world over, they have to be able to do transaction, multiples of simple transaction in the given time. So these transactions are real time, and immediately, suppose I change the value, somebody's account from a bank, has been increased. After depositing a certain amount of money, the account has been credited with that much of money. So that is immediate. So that's why we call it real time. And in simultaneous buy, lots of users and application hence must have volume of short, simple queries. Then the other one is that OLAP, online analytical processing. So this type of database system uses the operational data for tactical or strategical decision making. Limited users deal with huge amount of data and complex query. Now, in this case, you use a database system to derive certain information that will help in decision making. So it may be abstraction of data, or it may be reduction of a whole lot of a big amount of data, or it may be simply a complex query. So that type of analytical processing is also a criteria for categorization of database system. Then today we have a big data and this analytics the database management system. So to cope with the big data, new database technologies are introduced. For example, like NoSQL. That means not only SQL, is such database systems which abandon the well-known relational database system and try to cope with the present-day requirements like big data processing. So this is a classification according to the access part, and then the usage. Then we have other forms of classifications as well. For example, sometimes you may come across a database system called multimedia database system. So if you come across this multimedia database system, basically these database systems have not only text, but it also has images, audio, video, sometimes even games also, which are stored in binary mode, and which can be downloaded, or which can be processed remotely. So, I mean, when I say binary, I mean, for example, 3D games, probably you may have it in executable files and so on. Then multimedia database, you have different types of media stored in a database system. Then you have GIS database system. It stores and facilitates queries of spatial data, the geo information system. There, for example, when you are using Google Map to navigate through one location to the other, or you are just studying the map where a particular location is, you are actually using geo information system. Then we have one type of database system called sensor database management system. So this particularly is popular in securities. Today, almost every place has security system installed. So it facilitates and manages sensor data, biometrics, or telemetric data. Okay. Then you have mobile database management system. So these are sometimes in a server accessible through mobile phones, or in most cases it runs in smartphones and tablets. So this, if it runs only within the if it runs locally in the smartphone and tablets, this is a single-use system, mainly to handle local queries, and it is often managed locally. But it can also be, you can have a mobile app which access a larger database system. Okay, that also can be another option. Then you have open source database management system, which we mentioned it in passing. So the source, in this case, open source database management system, let us not forget that the source code is available free of charge. Okay, so this can be modified or it can be extended. So open source database are becoming very popular today. So some of the there was a time when people say that open source database management system is not for an enterprise solution. When it comes to a huge database system, uh, open source system is considered to be not reliable, but there are enterprise grade. Now it has come up with enterprise grade open source database system. For example, Altibase, MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, MongoDB, Cassandra, SQLite, Qubit. These are some of the enterprise grade open source database management system. So these are also some of the ways in which the database system is classified. So with that, we have come to the end of today's session. We will stop the session here. Thank you very much.